Hey guys, welcome back to episode 10 of Two Girls, One Crime. I am one of your hosts, Megan, and this is my dear, dear friend, Emily.
Hey guys, I can't believe it's episode 10. That's actually
I
so wild.
know, I
Ugh,
know, double digits. That just means life is getting better and better every single day. Um, right? That's the only thing it can mean.
exactly.
And with that being said, we're getting into bigger and better
Mhm.
crimes. And this one in particular has been a hot topic over the last couple of weeks. And if you have watched Netflix's documentary, The Crash, you're going to know a little bit about what we're talking about today, probably a lot because they did go into detail. But we're going to talk about Mackenzie Shirilla. Um, Per usual, if this is your first time, we start with some background, then we go into the crime. But if you've been with us for a while, you know the drill because this
You
is
already
episode 10.
know. You've heard it 10 times already.
Wait, that's so true.
Times, I guess.
9 or 10. Well, now 10.
Yes, now.
Woohoo!
Yay, double
Um,
digits.
well, with that being said, I'm going to kick us off by going into the background of what this case kind of looks like, more so who are the people involved, and what life was like before the crime itself that happened. Because this one is kind of an interesting one.
hmm
So, starting off with Mackenzie Shirilla, and she is going to be our suspect, if you will, throughout the entire case. So, she's a very important name to listen to.
hmm
She lived in Strongsville, Ohio, um, smaller town in Ohio, and at the time of the accident, she was 17 years old. Prior to that, she was born August of 2004. She grew up in like a middle class household, and her parents are Natalie and Steven Shirilla, and she also has an older sister, Danielle. Um, so very average family at the time. Um, Looked very normal on the outside. She was a student at Strongville High School, and she was kind of at the point in her life where she wanted to be an influencer. So there's millions of videos out there of her like doing outfits or like listening to music in the car. Um, she smoked a lot. That was a big thing and a big part of this case. She was kind of like the, and I hate to use that word, but like the druggie of the school, the burnouts, and that's what her friend group kind of called themselves, is like the burnouts of the school.
hmm
Um, at the time, she was living with her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and he, I believe, was 20 at the time of all of this. So a little bit older than her. She was still in high school when she moved in with him. He had graduated from high school a few years earlier, and on the outside looked like a pretty happy relationship, but over time we start to learn a little bit more of what that looks like.
hmm
And something important to bring up is Shirilla was kind of also known as like a bully within her school system. A lot of her peers claimed, and especially after this documentary came out a few months ago, that she was a bully. She frequently got into trouble with school administrators because she was always kind of part of that group that was causing these problems. Like I said, she was smoking underage, she was engaging in illegal drug use underage, so there's a couple things there. Um, Moving on to another important character, like I said, her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, also a student at Strongsville, dated her on and off again for 4 years. And this is where we kind of start to see a little bit of a turn within their relationship. Just because at the time, all of their friends were like, they're the perfect couple. They never, like, they had normal couple fights, but they were going to get married, all these things. And we later find out that it was a very toxic relationship. It was surrounded with a lot of control. During the trial, which we'll get into, Dominic Russo's mother testified that they were fighting for months before the crash occurred, and it was just very aggressive. There was a lot of verbal abuse in there, more so with Shirilla directing it towards Russo, a lot of aggravated behavior that was coming out of it. There were two times in particular that were kind of discussed where they were driving in the car together and they were fighting, and Shirilla threatened to crash the car while Russo was in the passenger seat. There was also someone else in the car who claims that this was happening, and it was
Mm-hmm.
very scary. There's also some where they were fighting. He was kind of like, "We're done. Like, I don't want to be with you anymore." He would then lock her out of the house. And she would call being like, if you don't unlock the house, like, I'll break down the door, I'll key your car, like, we're done. Like, a lot of threatening behavior. But again, ultimately, with a lot of abusive cycles, right, it's kind of this like on and off thing, whether or not it's male or female,
Mm-hmm.
where it kind of gets strung back in. And especially your two young people who have been dating for 4 years, like,
Yeah.
it makes sense why it went in that kind of direction.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely very toxic towards them.
yes, yeah, and there's one more individual who um, was in the car, but more so looking at kind of like the crash in general and like what happened. Like there, Shirilla and Russo are kind of the two main people where there was a lot of evidence that kind of showed like this is the direction that this crime was going. And Emily did a lot of research on the actual accident and what occurred between Shirilla and the two individuals in the car.
Yeah, so this happened on July 30th,
Mm-hmm.
in 2022. So Shirilla, Russo, and Flanagan was the third boy. They were all together the whole night. At about 10:15 on that day, they went to a graduation party for someone, one of their friends, someone in the high school. At around 11, the three of them drove to another friend's house, where they stayed until about 5:30 a.m. They were said to do drugs, smoked weed. They were listening to music. Like, that's all the stuff that they
Like what
said.
normal teenagers would do.
Right. So yeah, they stayed there, fell asleep for a little bit, woke up at like 5:30 on the 31st, and that's kind of when everything took a turn.
Mm-hmm.
They stayed there until about 5:30 on the 31st, and at about 5:34, actually exactly 5:34 because we'll get into it, but one of the friends had one of the boy, I believe Flanagan's location on Life 360, so they could actually see the exact time that it all
Mm-hmm.
happened. So at 5:34 in the morning, a street camera caught her car turning from a road called Pearl Road to a road called Progress Drive, and it was a pretty controlled turn, which is like a weird part, and they talk about that a lot actually in the documentary about like
Mm-hmm.
how in control of the car she seemed at that
It
turn.
looks very much like
Like she
you're
used her blinker, she like had her lights on, like all of it, like
slowly taking the turn,
right.
nothing
And
crazy.
the investigators were even like, it didn't even look like they were blasting music. Like she was totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she takes that turn, and about a minute later, a second car catches them on the camera speeding up, like again with the lights on, all of it, like seemingly in control. But once she starts
Mm-hmm.
speeding, the end of Progress Drive like goes to a T with Alameda Drive, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so that T, there's like a stop sign, and then obviously the building is on the other side of the T. So the car ended up accelerating super quick down to get to that T. She didn't stop at the stop sign. She continued straight right into the building,
Mm-hmm.
um, right into the corner of it. And investigators could tell that this car was going 100 miles per hour when it crashed into the wall. Which again, that's like so. It's so crazy because she's taking that controlled turn at the light, like she fully stops, turns,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's going 100 miles per hour. Um,
Yeah, and it's just so like it also was like 100 miles per hour for a while. Like the buildup was very
yeah,
like
yeah.
from the start of that road to like the end where they crashed into the building. And that does take also some time, like if you truly think about a car like speeding up.
Right. And I think that they said that the speed limit was like 30 something.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a side road too. It wasn't like a, I don't know,
A
not
main
a highway.
road.
It wasn't like a main road.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah. Um, we'll talk a little bit more about that also in a little bit. But so about 45 minutes after the crash into the side of the building, the first responders arrived. There were like tons of police, which we see a lot in the documentary,
Mm-hmm.
and they found all three of them unconscious. Unfortunately, the two boys were uh, dead on arrival, DOA, and Shirilla was taken to the hospital. She had like bone fractures and torn things, but she was ultimately alive and she was life flighted there.
And I
Um,
also like keep in mind during when, because there is also like body cam footage out there,
yeah,
like when they're opening the car door, she's conscious. Like
she was
they
like
were,
blabbering. They were like, we couldn't tell what she was saying, but like she was like trying to speak.
yeah, and you could also
Yeah,
hear they were like, "Who are you?" And she was like, "Mackenzie," and that's like a huge part of this where it's like it she was not unconscious. Like it is a miracle she survived though, if you see like the car because it's
it's
crazy.
absolute, yeah. So the police actually were saying, well, first they found weed and mushrooms in her car, as well as like a
Mhm.
digital scale in her possession in her car.
Mhm.
Um, so we learned later that Russo was in the passenger seat and Flanagan was in the back seat. And like Megan was saying, the police literally described this on the body camera footage as like the worst crash that they had ever seen.
Mhm.
Um, and it is really bad when you look at the footage. Like, it doesn't even look like a
Oh, it
car.
looks horrible.
Um, and the police said that she was like inconsolable when finding out that the other two had died. Um, but it is a little bit weird because, like we said, or like Megan said earlier, she was kind of wanting to start a social media page.
Mhm.
And she ended up posting a ton while she was in the hospital of like her in the hospital, her like in wheelchairs, like
Yeah.
attending concerts. And she also posted this TikTok that was like, the sound on it was, I'm one of those girls who can do a lot of drugs and not die. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't think you
Yeah.
should be posting that anyways, never mind
Mhm.
after everything that's happened. So her social media kind of took off, um, which also seems like kind of weird timing. But
Yeah.
again, you know. Um, so yeah, more into the actual crash itself and what happened leading up to it. The police did originally think that this was an accident, um, like everyone would at least hope when finding something like this out. The like auto expert for the police said that the vehicle was like in perfect condition before the crash. Like nothing was, no tires were messed up. Like the brake wasn't messed up. Like the car was
Mhm.
completely fine, which meant that it was probably some type of user error.
Mhm.
Um, they said that the accelerator was pressed at the time of the crash, which we obviously knew because she got to 100 miles per hour, and there was no brake pressed at all. At all.
Yeah.
Um, and again, they knew that she obviously was in her right mind making that one turn before she got to the T.
Mhm.
But, like, I don't know. And we'll talk about it later a little bit more, like, about what she was thinking. Um, but I think that's so crazy that, like, she didn't press the brake once. And what's even crazier is that the police got, with her permission, got, like, access to her phone and could see, based on her GPS on her phone, that she went to the crash site earlier that week. I think it was, like,
Mhm.
3 days before it happened.
Yeah, and she had like
And,
no reason to be there. Like it the part that they described like where it happened was like the I can't think of a word, but like a warehouse type district, like a factory
right,
type
right,
district of the town where you only go there really if you're going to work. Like
right.
she wasn't working there. It's not anywhere near her house. Like she wasn't going to the friend's house that day and then driving home. And even the way they took home, I believe it wasn't like the normal way to take home
No,
necessarily. So
right.
it was just very odd that and you can literally see exactly like the road. Like she went all the way down the road and then
Mm-hmm.
like that was it.
Yeah, which I think is like absolutely crazy. That,
Mhm.
and again, they were like, oh, she likely went there to prepare for it or figure it out. I'm like, and it was so early in the morning. It's like she knew that nobody else would be on the road, like
Well,
all of
and
that stuff.
a big part of it too is like they talk about how the road that they were on when they did crash was it's a windy road. It's not like because you could also argue and be like, "Oh, well, maybe something did happen. Like maybe
Right.
something medically happened or whatever the deal may be." but either way, it's like a windy road where she had to control the driving in order to speed that fast. Like,
Right.
if she was speeding, she would have hit like a ditch before she hit the
Yep.
actual wall. So
Yeah.
that makes it even sketchier.
Yeah. And she says that all she remembers is that she remembers that turn at the light, and then she was like, I don't remember anything right before the crash,
Mm-hmm.
which is like
Well, and here's
convenient
what's
to have amnesia from just this one section of.
Well, and here's what's odd too, though, is like when she was found, she was conscious.
Right.
Like, even that she was able to say her name. It wasn't like she was passed out because I could see like if you were passed out or you like hit your head, right? But it's also like you remember turning down that street and then you at least had, let's say, like a quarter of a mile. Like you just don't remember any of that.
You
That
also have to
seems
like continue to press the gas for the car to stay at the
She
same.
pressed it for 5 seconds. She held down on the accelerator for at least 5 seconds. And how they know this is because of the black box in the car, right? And
Right.
it's like, well, like something was going on. That doesn't just magically happen.
Yeah, and they said that they like found her slipper, like in the documentary. It was like her
Mm-hmm.
slipper was like lodged in the floor or something. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't really, I don't know if I believe it. But anyways,
Well,
we'll continue on.
they also ruled that out too, where
Right.
they ruled out any like alternate or like any interfering like aspects of what could have happened.
Yeah.
Like everything was fine. It was not underneath there until after the car had crashed.
Right. And also like even with her like passing out or whatever, like they took her blood samples and could tell that she wasn't like that she smoked weed, but there's like a million videos of her smoking weed and
Mm-hmm.
driving cars anyways. Um, but like she was tested for the mushrooms that were found in the car. She was tested for like all different types of psychedelics, and she was totally clear.
Yeah.
So there was no like impairment while she was driving, like drug
Yeah.
wise. Um, but who knows any other things?
Crazy.
So this is like kind of another like little fact that was talked about was that after this whole thing, Flanagan's sister apparently like really didn't like Shirilla like as while they were friends or whatever. Like she said that she wasn't a
Mm.
very nice person, which we talked about, and she had a lot of like problems in school. She was like kind of a bully. Um, and Flanagan's sister did not like some of the social media posts that Shirilla had been posting. On Halloween, she posted dressed up as what looked like a corpse. They claimed to be like the rapper Playboy Cardi, but it looked like corpses.
Yeah.
And Flanagan's sister did not like this at all and thought it was like very suspicious and very callous, which I
Also,
agree. I think that's
yeah.
not very. Um,
Well, if someone
I
died,
don't
if your
know what it is.
boyfriend died, and then you also killed
And you were the
another,
one driving the car.
yeah, I wouldn't be out dressing up either way. I wouldn't be out on Halloween because think about it.
Right.
That's July. Let's say August, September, October. That's 3 months after, and you're like, she looked fine. Where she was like, oh, okay. And on top of it, it's like the one thing about it is even before the trial and everything, when she was like walking around free, she was like, oh, I didn't do it. Like I never killed them. There was no accountability.
No.
It was kind of like, oh, it happened, and we just all happened to be in the car.
Right.
Mm.
Ugh, I also just think it's so sad how like she was driving and she's the only one that survived.
See, that's what's crazy is like I think about how did she survive? And that's where it also gets a little tricky about, and we'll talk more about this about whether or not this was intentional.
Right.
But like truly I have no idea how she's even not like paralyzed, like no clue.
And she like broke bones, but like that's it. Like that's so
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And like
Yeah.
her like tricep tore off or something. Like obviously she was injured, but like in the grand scheme of things, like not
Oh my God, she should
extremely
have
injured.
died. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. Also, I think it's kind of. Did you ever watch the like Josie Graham workout videos? because this girl that's like in the documentary as her like social media friend, like I like totally knew who she was like way beforehand.
Well, everyone, I looked at her up after I watched the documentary,
Yeah.
and as far as I'm aware, like everybody was like they weren't actually like really good friends. Like
Yeah.
they were friendly, but they
Yeah.
weren't like ever best friends. And also like she didn't talk to the police.
That was crazy when he was like, "You got her to
Crazy.
talk in the documentary? I've been trying to get her to talk to me forever." He was like, "I can't
Yeah,
wait to see what she's."
literally the
That was crazy.
lawyer
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I tried to get her to like help testify against Mackenzie."
Yeah.
And then it's like she was like, "No, no, no, I can't." But yet you're going on the documentary for fame,
Yeah.
even though it's like she claimed that her best friends were also Dominic and Flanagan. Like,
Yeah.
excuse me?
Yeah. It's
Apparently not,
very
because
odd.
Emily, if I die, and it was like he was like one of our friends that killed me, I would be like, you better be on you better
Yeah.
be going to talk to my attorney or whoever the attorneys are.
Yeah. That I just think is like kind of strange. And that it's like Rosie Graham, the workout girl, is like this girl in the
Yeah,
documentary.
I think she's
That was very
probably gonna
crazy.
receive a lot
But
of hate after this, but
yeah. Like clearly she just wants the fame.
yeah.
Anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about the actual trial itself now. Um,
Woohoo.
would you like to take it away?
Sure. Anyways, so on November 4th of 2022, the police had enough information and evidence to arrest Shirilla after she was discharged from the hospital. So keep in mind this was like a couple months afterwards. So she's out and about, and this is also after the like Halloween thing, going to concerts, she's posting, so there's a lot of things in there. She was charged with 17 crimes, two counts of aggravated murder and one of drug trafficking due to the um, CBD and the mushrooms. At
Yeah,
the time of the
a
trial,
lot of
she,
mushrooms.
yeah, a lot of them. There was like a whole
When they
baggie of
showed the
them.
bag, I was like, oh my
I was also like, where do you get those?
god,
Anyways,
I wouldn't know.
no. So she chose to do a bench trial versus a jury trial, which pretty much what that looks like is the judge gets to decide and all the cases or all the evidence is presented to the judge.
Mhm.
Um, Judge was wonderful, literally so helpful for the families. On August 14th of 2023, she was found guilty on charges of murder, felonious assault, aggravated vehicular homicide, drug possession, and criminal tools possession. Um, Judge Nancy Russo, and she was not at all related to Dominic Russo, just happened to be the same name,
Mhm. At first, I
said,
was like, wait, that's not allowed. But then I continued reading and I was like, oh, okay, they're not.
"Oh,
They're
this makes more sense."
us.
Yeah, she said that her actions were premeditated based off of the evidence that was presented.
Mhm.
And prosecutors said that Shirley had no remorse. They said that, again, based off of her behavior before and after the accident, it wasn't presenting of somebody who A, lost the like, quote, like love of their life, and on top of that, who feels guilty about killing two people.
Right.
Um, so
Especially, again, it's not like, which would still be horrible, it's not like two
mhm.
random people. Like you just said, it's her boyfriend of
It's
multiple
her
years
one of
and
her
like her
really
best
good friends.
friend.
Yeah, like I would be crushed.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't get
I
that
would not be
one.
posting on social media and I would not be going out on Halloween and I would not be,
No,
I would like lock myself away.
literally.
Ugh.
Her parents claimed though all of this stuff afterwards because her parents during the trial were like trying, they were called to kind of like testify in a way or like give a letter. And even the parents weren't helpful and being like, yeah, our daughter messed up. They were like, nope, she didn't do anything wrong. They even tried to argue, oh, Flanagan was a new friend, so then it wasn't, and the judge was like, clock that, so that means like this life means less because it was a new person.
Yeah,
Um,
parents were very weird. Like in the documentary, even
parents,
when they were talking about like how she would get in trouble in high school, they were like, "Yeah, we just pick her up and like bring her home."
yeah,
Like the
they
dad
are the
was like,
least
"I might
parent
not be a
parent.
good parent, but that's okay. Like whatever.
Yeah,
She was a good
it's
kid." I'm like,
weird.
um,
No, she's not a good kid. If my kid was running around, if I was ever running around doing all this, my parents would have been like, yeah, what is your problem? Also, letting your 17-year-old daughter live with her 20-year-old boyfriend,
yeah.
not okay. Anyways, so
We've
she
all
was,
dated our boyfriends for like basically 3 years, and we're
yeah,
not with them, and we're
no,
23 almost. We're both
23.
almost 23. Cute.
Oh my God, yay. Um, a birthday episode incoming. Oh my God, wait,
Mm.
next
Wait,
year.
one's gonna be posted on my birthday. On this because my birthday's on a Sunday.
Happy birthday.
Guys, happy
Okay,
birthday to me.
back to the trial. So she was sentenced to life in prison twice with the possibility of parole in 15 years. So there's chance she could stay in prison her entire life, but if she was on good behavior, all that fun stuff, she could get out in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, her license was permanently suspended, and she will be eligible for parole in October of 2037. So here's where things get interesting though too. Um, and don't have a lot of talking points on this, but one big part of it in the like frequently asked questions section,
Mm-hmm.
which we can get into, but I feel like this can be a nice little way to sneak it in there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are kind of like, what does she claim that happened? Because she is saying like, oh well, I don't remember. So it's kind of like she's been asked, and even on this documentary, they gave her the opportunity to be like, what do you think then happened in the car?
Right.
She claims that she doesn't remember what happened. To this day, she still does. She claims that the only thing that could have happened is she blacked out due to a medical condition called POTS. Um, and that was kind of her attorney's argument, is that she had POTS and that's what happened, even though there's many people who, her mom, it was like, oh yeah, she has POTS, but they did like medical tests and they were like, that's not how
No, she
POTS
doesn't.
work either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They were like, either way, they literally said, like, there's also people out there who have POTS who
Yeah.
have kind of commented on this. And of course, everybody's experience with that stuff is different, right? But they've been
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, people don't just like pass out randomly and they don't know about it. They can
Yeah.
like feel a POTS episode coming on and then they pass out
Yeah.
and then they wake
Enough
up.
time for her to pull over the car at the speed she was going when she turned onto the street.
Yeah, and also, wouldn't you think like, okay, let's say like you pass out, right? Your foot is perfectly on the
Right.
pedal the
No, your
entire
muscles all stop working when you pass out. So
yeah.
it's like,
Like foot slips off if anything, and it's not gonna hold it down because it doesn't have the strength to hold it down.
right. Wrong.
Literally, get out.
Ugh, yeah.
Um, so yeah, and we can leave our thoughts for the end. But I think we all see, all the listeners out there see where this is going with where we think that she lies on the innocent versus guilty scale.
Yes, I believe so. Um, so yeah, another one was like, was it ruled a murder? Which we do talk about this. Again, she was charged with a million and one things. And
Hmm.
like Megan said earlier, and I said earlier, like the car, according to the auto expert, like literally says that she accelerated down like 100%, all the way down to the ground to
Hmm.
100 miles per hour, and like did not use the brake at all. Um, which again, like we said, if she was passed out, she would not be able to put it down 100% down all the way.
Hmm.
Um, so again, she was charged with like I think 17 different crimes.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah, and the premeditation comes into play because
maybe
of the toxic relationship, and that's where a lot of their evidence came from of like, well, this is why they didn't just say, oh, this girl decided to like kill them. Because of A, B, and C, it was like, well, no, there's been a history of this. She was kind of being like, I'm gonna kill you or hurt you if you
Mhm.
break up with me, and that's ultimately what ended up happening.
She also
Um,
literally went to the crime scene 3 days before she did
Literally,
it.
there's a
So
lot of
if that
things.
doesn't say premeditated, I don't know what does.
The only thing that will forever confuse me about this case is like you said earlier, it's a crazy how she survived. Like she should not have
Yeah,
survived. So it's like, okay, if it's premeditated, like in her head was this kind of like I'm gonna die alongside with
right.
Russo, and Flanagan was kind of just like the unlucky guy who also got to go in the car, or was it like she like where did she not care about dying whatsoever for this? That's where it gets me every time a
Yeah,
little bit.
I don't I don't know, which I don't like that I don't know that. But also I'm pretty sure in the documentary, didn't the friend, like the guy friend who was talking, didn't he say that like Flanagan was supposed to go home with him or something like that and like last minute decided to just go home and like shower or
Yeah,
whatever and go in this car. So I do
yeah.
think like Mackenzie's plan was to just kill Russo and not Flanagan.
That's a good point too.
I don't know because he was like, oh yeah, we were supposed to like we all had plans the next day, like he was just gonna stay here,
Hmm.
go home with me or whatever, but then decided to go home and shower and get ready and take a nap. So I feel
Yeah.
like he unfortunately was just like added onto it at the end, and Mackenzie's mind was already made up that she was doing this.
Yeah,
But
and she didn't really
I don't
care who was an accomplice of
remember.
this.
But I do
Yeah.
wonder because I know like Russo was sitting in the front seat. I wonder if Flanagan was sitting right behind him in the back seat because like could she have like hit the building in some way where it was like just that side that got like the brunt of the impact versus
Like
her?
she turned the car or
I
something at
don't know.
last
Like
minute.
if it just like hit at like a certain I have no
Yeah.
idea.
So that's the one thing that stumps a lot of people and where it gets into like the
What
how does
or
she feel?
yeah. Ugh,
Um,
yeah.
Gives me chills.
It yeah. No. I don't like it. Don't like it. Um so she again, like we said, she's still in prison. She doesn't have the chance of parole until 2037, I believe.
37. Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about her?
Yeah,
What
so
she's like
a
behind
lot,
bars?
yeah, a lot of people, because when the crash came out a couple months ago, she got the opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
Um, and she presented in this way that a lot of people were kind of weirded out by, and they were just like, this isn't really still giving, like, you feel sorry.
Hmm.
So, um, in the last couple of months, a lot of people have been like, well, what is her behavior like behind bars? Like, what has that been? And recently, in the last, I want to say like month or two, a former inmate named Kat Crowder described her as the mean girl Regina George in prison, and like the people she hangs out with act very mean girl-esque. They're high and mighty above everybody. Um, there have been claims recently that because in prison, she's in an all women's prison, and a lot of former inmates have discussed how they engage in like romantic relationships with one another because they don't really have access to the outside world.
Hmm.
And one of them claimed that she had admitted to killing them, where she claimed like, yes, I did, like I wanted to, or I wanted to kill Dominic. But these are just claims and kind of knowings from like other inmates who have been released or gotten this information. And she has given herself the nickname. This thing I found the funniest is Shirilla the Killer. Um, so a
Like
lot
you
of people,
don't do that if you didn't
no,
commit the crime on
no,
purpose. Like
yeah, I wouldn't be proud to give myself that nickname.
no.
Megan the Murderer. Like,
Hey, that kind of works. I know. I was trying to think. There's nothing really with Emily.
I could come up with one.
Executor.
Oh, Emily the Executor. Yeah, like I would. We're joking about this
We're
now, but if
not.
we actually did these things, we would die.
I'd be very concerned.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of things with this too is like they say that 6 months after she got into prison, she started. a romantic relationship with one of the other inmates. And a lot of people are also like, you're claiming that you loved this guy, like you feel
That you
so
were
guilty.
him.
Yeah, and it's like, well, then you immediately get into a relationship with another inmate,
Yeah.
and like, it just is weird behavior where it's like, you're not really giving someone who feels bad.
Yeah, there's no remorse
No,
in this situation.
no.
Um, and she doesn't take accountability for what she did. Even if it was an accident, like, there's still no
No, you
accountability.
still did it. That's what I'm saying is like she still did something and it's like, okay, that's when you say I did kill people. Like whether or not I intended to, like I took
Mm-hmm.
the lives of two people and I'm sorry. I feel like that would get her a lot more like understanding, but
Yeah,
she is like, nope, I never killed them. And it's like, yes, you did. You were operating the vehicle. Similar
yeah,
thing of like a drunk driving accident, right? Like
yeah,
you didn't mean to kill them, but you still did kill and end the
yeah.
lives of people.
And it does like make a difference, like if it's like voluntary or involuntary or again
Mhm.
premeditated, which in this case it is. Um, First degree, like that's why there's all those differences to then or subcategories to like try to accurately describe things, but like you still all of it is still under murder, like
Mhm.
which is I don't know. I
Yeah.
I would feel so bad if that was ever like I wouldn't even
Oh, I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
oh
Like,
no, no.
yeah. And she's still actively trying to get out of prison, which I think is the funniest thing is like even the 15 years, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be old when I get out of prison." And it's like, "Well, you'll be, I think she's 23 now, 24,
Yeah.
maybe a little younger. She might even be
Mm-hmm.
21." And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, "Well, in 15 years, you'll be in your 30s." Like, because she also
That's
got
also like
sentenced when
a
she was
chance roll.
17. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
no.
anyways, so the final kind of aspect, since we were talking about like remorse, right? And this was a big part of stuff too that kind of led into, and this was before her sentencing.
Mm-hmm.
She decided to do a statement to the families that were sitting in court. And this is quote what she said, and this is it, which I think is makes it even worse. Is she goes to the families of Dom and Davion, who is Flanagan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see how I'd never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. That was it. Nothing else. Not like anything else about meaning or like taking true accountability and being like, I took their lives. Like, I didn't do it on purpose, but like, I did take their lives.
I
Nothing.
hope one day you could see that I'd never let this happen.
You
You
did,
did.
girl. You did.
Ugh, I wish I could remember what happened. Like that's not even the worst part. Like you still did it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like, you can't bring them back. It doesn't matter if you remember or not. You still did it.
Yeah. I felt so bad for I believe it was Flanagan's siblings who were like talking in it. Like his younger
Mm-hmm.
sister. I was like
Oh
and
my
like
God,
they
I was
were
like,
adopted and the parents were just so sad. I'm like,
it
ugh.
was very sad.
Ugh.
And they were like a parent's worst nightmare. Like, this girl needs to pay.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think all our listeners can see that we think she did it.
What do you think we think?
Leave
Ugh.
a note in the comments, but it's very fascinating to think about because it is kind of like she keeps denying it, but it's also like if we think about OJ Simpson,
It
my
all
favorite
comes back to OJ.
my
If you
favorite
guys
crime
didn't
out there.
know, we've probably talked about this, but OJ is Megan's most favorite.
One day we're gonna go into detail about the crime. One day that's gonna
We
be
will.
like a six
That's going to be a
hour.
long episode. Yeah. Maybe for our
Um.
100th episode or 50,
Ooh.
like a
Yeah.
milestone.
Yeah. Okay. So 40 days you'll be hearing about OJ. But anyways, he like obviously he did it, but he denied it forever, and it's like till the day he died he denied it. But there were so many things that pointed to it. So I feel like it kind of is that same thing where it's like she denies it, but then she has a lot of behavior where it's like, well, it doesn't really seem like
You're not acting like you. Yeah, exactly.
no. So I feel like that's always like a key indicator that like somebody did it. Because she's not getting defensive. She's just like, I didn't do it, and then she goes and lives her little life in
Wish I
prison.
could remember.
Yeah, me
Which,
too.
like,
I would.
again, that's so annoying because that's like one thing that you just can't even like prove.
No. It's not
Like
like
they
there's a
looked
video
at
in
the
the
car,
car.
did her blood, alcohol level, all of the drugs, like, and nothing
I wish
was,
there was a closer camera. Like, I wish that there was like the ability to see like what was going on inside the car.
or like on the building of the place that they crashed into. Because I think it was just
Hmm.
like on the street.
Yeah, you can see it, you just can't see it very close.
Yeah. This, well, this was a, I mean, we felt like we had to do this one because it's like very in the media right now, obviously.
Hmm.
And the documentary was really good. And yeah, we kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about it and share our thoughts, which we
We
definitely
gotta.
did.
This was a juicy one, and we got a couple other juicy ones coming in the next couple of
We do.
weeks.
We have some fun ones coming up, and we can't wait for you guys to hear them.
Yeah,
Eek.
and as always, right. Leave a comment if there's any you want to listen to.
Yes.
Julia, which no clue if she listens.
Yes. Julia,
She
shout out.
Shout out to Julia. She told us we should do this one because it was all over her For You page. So
Yeah.
we talked about our thoughts and all that.
Hmm.
But yeah, if there's any you want to hear, feel free to leave comment on YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, wherever your heart desires.
Yes, all the things. We always read them and we talk about them and we add them to our list. So
Hmm.
comment and we'll do it. Yay!
Yay. Okay,
Thank
well,
you
we
guys for
will see you
listening.
next time. Have a
Yes.
good day, all the above, and
Yes.
goodbye.
Happy Sunday when we post this.
Happy Sunday. Miss you all dearly. Okay, bye.
Bye.